The day I got the news that she had this life-threatening condition, I was just beside myself. I didn't plan on bringing her home. I didn't have things for her here. I took what I had for her to the hospital, which was an outfit and a blanket. And I thought that would be the end. I got there at like 6 p.m. and she was born at 4:28 a.m. They took her. She cried. I was lost for words. To hear her cry was amazing because I didn't think she was coming.
When a parent hears a diagnosis that shatters their dreams for their child, you know, your whole world is just shattered. And it's a process of trying to make sense out of that.
Palliative care offers support for parents to try to really think through these tough decisions about what the care for their child should entail. People may choose a different kind of care if they know the time is limited. And if we don't give people the opportunity to explore other options, then we basically have controlled the way that their child will die without them having a voice.
Every time we see a doctor, they said, this is what we have to offer. If I choose for her not to get a shunt, that's my decision. Or if I choose for her not to get a G-tube, that's my decision based on she may not make it through that surgery.
Every Thursday when we gather, we have people from every discipline, and we use that as a time to look at a particular case from all the different perspectives. And then we use that to create a holistic plan for that child and family.
A lot of times kids come home with IV antibiotics. And to a family who doesn't have a medical background, the central line or the PICC line or the peripherally inserted central catheter can be very daunting. Everything suddenly is very medical. So we go out and we reassure them, we teach them. If we have to go back the next day to help them understand and be comfortable with it, then that's what we'll do. A chronically ill child is a big stressor because you never get relief. It's a 24/7 deal.
Palliative comes from a word that means to cloak and to protect. People feel really isolated after their child has died. They have the basic inherent grief that anybody would have after having a child pass away.
Khalil lived for 63 days, that's all. Johns Hopkins does bereavement groups for families that have lost children. It helped that 2-3 months into it, 2 years into it, I could come to this meeting and I could still talk about my son. And it was somebody who cared to hear it and cared to share their story as well. And though our children didn't go down the same path, have the same disease, have the same illnesses, our stories are basically the same. We lost our children. Khalil's like, I call him my reset button. I go out to the cemetery and just unload. It just kind of puts things back in perspective for me, because I just remind myself of making it through that experience and what was going on then. And if I made it through that, I definitely could make it through anything else.
Thank you, Lord, for the blessing, for food. Amen.
So we love you, Khalil.
We love you, Khalil.
Palliative care is about living. And although the dying process is part of that continuum, it's not the main focus. And one of the things I've learned in working with children who have life-limiting, life-threatening conditions is how much our work is about helping them live every day as well as they can.
I try not to think of what's to come. I try to think of what's here today and make the best out of what we have. In the beginning, it was really, really hard, you know, and we never slept. We wanted to be at her side all the time. I didn't think she'd be here this long. I didn't think that we'd hear her making noises and, you know, that she'd breathe on her own this long or play, you know, hit things around. And smile at us. Those are all just the small things that make so much difference. We wanted everybody to come together on her first birthday as a celebration of life, not necessarily for her first birthday, not necessarily a party, but celebrate this gift God's given us.